Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of our F1 2017 career mode, and we start off with very unfortunate news. We are going to take a gearbox penalty this race at Monaco because our gearbox is just absolutely screwed. So in FP1 we get a purple track acclimatization program, and we also will go on to do the fuel saving program with our new gearbox, and also we're using some slightly worn parts in this, and as you can see we actually got a red lap on that, but we managed to recover enough to get 30 points on the board, and also in the average tyre wear test we get 30 points as well. Practice programs are proving to be a little bit more difficult around Monaco. In FP2 we do the race strategy program on the super softs, and in FP3 we do the qualifying pace program on the ultras, and we actually get a purple program from that. But a massive cat amongst the pigeons is thrown in Q1, as it's actually a full wet session, so this is potentially our time to shine, as the playing field is leveled out massively for us in our favour, because in the wet weather it kind of seems that the pace is evened out across all the cars. But coming around the final few corners, we're currently in P5, but we have not set a lap yet. Very luckily we did not catch up to that Sauber right at the end of our lap, and it is actually P2 at the time being in Q1, so that is enough to progress to Q2, and we actually get P9 at the end of that session. So Julian Palmer, Alonso and Ocon and the Sauber of Marcus Ericsson are all knocked out in Q1, unfortunately for them. Two very two midfield guys knocked out in Q1, Ocon and Palmer. Very unexpected that, but in Q2 is intermediate conditions, so the playing field is leveled out slightly in the AI's favour, so we put in a lap on the intermediates, and that is enough for 4th position at the time. And right at the end of the session it does dry out, so we have enough time to put in a lap on the ultra soft tyre, and unfortunately that did not go to plan, and we get P15, but with that gearbox penalty we will be certainly starting further down. But just before the race starts, I want to show you guys this, the starting grid for this race. So the first unusual thing is that Lance Stroll is starting up in P4. Julian Palmer, who was knocked out in Q1, starts 6th along with our teammate, and this is why all of just so many grid penalties. So P8 downwards everyone has a grid penalty, so yeah, that is pretty bizarre. Thank you very much for the advice, Jeff. So we start in last position, unfortunately, even after having an absolute cracker of a Saturday, progressing all the way to Q2, but we pull into our grid slot, and we're building up to 5 red lights on the most important race on the calendar, and it's lights out and away we go for the Monaco Grand Prix. We get a pretty mediocre start from last position. We will be going to the inside of quite a few people. We go up the inside of Magnussen, and that is us up into P16 out of turn 1, so pretty decent start, pretty decent first corner. And later on in the lap, going into Maribor, we go up the inside of both Grosjean and Perez, I think that is, but we have to concede the position to Perez. But coming into the hairpin, we go back up his inside, as it's just an absolute car park, to be honest, and we get the position back off the Force India. So yeah, very hectic hairpin there. Just don't really know what was going on. I think it was a Red Bull that caused all that commotion. But on lap 3 we're trying to follow Kvyat. The Dirtier is making quite a task of it, but we have gotten a very good run out of the swimming pool section, and we will go up the inside of Daniel Kvyat at Raskas. So very unorthodox place to make a move, but we make it nevertheless. And just a lap later we're going to try and get past Verline, and we will be making the exact same move on the Sauber as what we did to the Toro Rosso of Daniel Kvyat. So that is us up into the points, I believe. That's P10, I think. So yeah, Verline was running very well. But for the next 10 laps or so, we push the absolute wheels off the car as we try to catch up to both Felipe Massa and our teammate, who are about I think 7 seconds up the road, or 9 I think it was, but you can see that we are slowly starting to catch them up. We just about catch a glimpse of them as we go through Raskas, and we're trying to use track that just isn't there as we clip the inside at Maribor, and that almost punts us into a spin. But on lap 14 we catch up to the back of Felipe Massa, and we are now in the DRS window, and you see our teammate is just about pulling away from the Williams. So yeah, very interesting stuff that our teammate is able to pull away from Massa. I think it's maybe because of the dirty air, but Massa peels into the pits after 2 laps of us being behind him, and our teammate follows suit a lap later, trying not to get undercutted by the Williams. So that leaves us in clear air for the next 8 laps. We actually had to stretch out our super softs for that long for us to actually make the super soft, ultra soft strategy work. And in that time, the little group that our teammate was part of have managed to get quite a lot of time on us. It's a very good pit stop from the McLaren boys, to be honest, but they just can't make up the amount of time that we lost in those 8 laps. You can see Fernando just goes past there, and that is the amount of time that we've lost to him. Just the first corner we've lost to him. But on lap 27 we managed to catch right back up to him, and we actually tried to send one up the inside at Raskas, but he gets a better exit than us and manages to hang it around the outside. But we are starting to get very impatient, and just 2 laps later, I believe this is, we look to the inside again, but our teammate cuts us off very aggressively. You can see we're kicking the back end out, trying to get on the power as soon as possible, trying to get on the power earlier than our teammate. And 2 laps after that, we are behind our teammate yet again. We get a very good exit out of the swimming pool section. We send one up the inside of our teammate at Raskas, and this time it actually pays off. So that is us up into P8, I think this was P7 actually, sorry. And on lap 34 we have the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton behind us now. So yeah, he made a pit stop. He was in front of us, but he made a pit stop, and now we're going side by side up Beau Rivage. He'll be on the outside into Massenet, and we just about hold it up his inside. We push him against the wall, and through Casino we get an absolutely lovely switchback on the Mercedes, and we will be right up his inside into Maribor. We have to squeeze him out, and that is us defending the position successfully from Lewis Hamilton into Nouvelle. He tries one around the outside again, but we managed to defend from the 3-time world champion once again. And on lap 38, onto the final lap now, Valtteri Bottas has actually caught up to our little battling group. So we technically finish a lap down without Valtteri Bottas actually lapping us, but we have to go defensive into Massenet from Lewis Hamilton. He tries to hang one around the outside, but it doesn't quite work. Now our teammate is having a look at him, but unfortunately Fernando just about can't get him. But coming around, Anthony Nogues for the final time is going to be P7 for us in the Monaco Grand Prix from P20 on the grid. That was a very tough race for us, but we just about make it work. So it's the first double points finish for McLaren as well of the entire season so far, so that is very positive as well for the boys back in Woking. We get a lovely 122 resource points from that race, and in terms of the rivalry, we actually do beat Fernando Alonso. So it only takes us 6 races to beat our 2-time world champion teammate, and Force India and Toro Rosso also really like us. But thank you very much for watching this episode of Career Mode. This was very fun to make due to all the battles that we endured in that race. But if you did enjoy the video, please leave a like and subscribe. It's been Elite Crashy. Goodbye.